Welcome back to Nothing Cast.
Hello, everyone.
It's Patrick.
This is our. We've got the original roster back here.
Yeah. just the boys.
Yeah. So I think this is the first episode we've recorded in front of a live studio audience of two cats.
That's true.
Yeah.
They're just kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll react to any of our jokes.
No,
They're a little human specific.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried that they might actually tear this thing out of the wall.
It's fine. I'll catch it if it falls.
No, Alfred likes to eat phone chargers.
Alfred is a cat.
Yeah. He duped me.
There he goes.
Yeah.
Do we have a topic or any idea?
You don't need one.
That's the beauty.
This is nothing cast. If this isn't something cast.
That's true.
I've probably said that before.
Yeah. So how you been?
Been good. Yeah, I don't know. It's been busy, Even with COVID, I feel like there's always a lot to do, just with house stuff and family to see, just a lot of family members and
Right.
and whatnot.
That's true.
I'd say. Yeah, sometimes I wish I was bored. That probably.
That's fair. I don't get bored so much as I get moments of silence filled with existential dread. That's why I fill those with things to do. I had an editing job, a real life job for a few weeks, and then once I finished last week, I was like, what do I do with my time?
Yeah.
I'm just like, how do I normally
How do I be a human?
what do I normally do with all the hours in the day? And I don't even know, so I just took a nap.
That's good. Yeah, well, we just watched Predator.
Yeah. Predator, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one in a while. I distinctly remember watching it
Predator, more like pretty good. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I remember watching it a couple of years ago, and it was on one of our days off of camp.
Oh, okay.
When we were I feel like that's gonna be really loud.
Yeah, should we move or move the cat?
Just leave it.
Just leave.
We'll just leave it.
Okay.
Just our cat playing in a bag.
Cat's out of the bag.
No, he's in the bag now.
Cat's in the bag.
So I just remember a couple years ago I watched Predator. I think you were there, and it was one of our days off of camp. So and that was the summer we worked the whole summer.
Oh,
So
okay.
because it was one of those days off, I was so exhausted. I remember turning on the movie. I remember them going through the jungle, and I just remember being waking up and seeing the credits. I wasn't even trying. It was one of those times where you're watching a movie and you're falling asleep and you're close your eyes. And you're no, I want to stay awake through this. And then you're oh, I'll just give in to the darkness.
We'll give up.
Yeah. What I find frustrating because I did the exact same thing a couple days ago, but I always find that when I fight the darkness, and then the movie ends, and I'm all right, I made it to the end of the movie. I may have been in and out. That I find it it's harder to it takes me almost half an hour to fall asleep.
Oh, afterwards?
Afterwards, yeah. It's because I fought the darkness. It's nah, you don't get me now.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
It's
you're awake now. You've committed to that.
Yeah, but it's
Missed your chance
I
to
wish
take
it
a
worked
nap.
the other way.
Yeah. Sometimes... Yes, it seems... Yeah, I don't know. I already have
Murphy's Law.
I already have a bad sleep schedule, and I find it hard to sleep sometimes. But yeah, that'll sometimes happen where I'm oh man, I'm like falling asleep during this movie. I should just go to bed early. And then it's like 10 o'clock or something, and then I like don't fall asleep till 2 p.m. or 2 a.m.
That's bad.
2 p.m.
That's bad as well.
Yeah, 2 p.m. would be worse.
Yeah, 14 hours later. Or 16, whatever. That's a long time. But yeah, that's funny. Yeah, no, I was X-Men First Class is what I watched the other night, and I'm like,
nice.
and I was like, I slept through like a lot of like the like key character stuff that happens right before the big fight at the end, and then like I was watching the big fight at the end. I'm like, I feel like a lot of this would be landing more if I was awake for the character moments.
Right. Well, the ending parts of it are a little rushed too. Like,
Like at that, they only played chess once in this whole movie.
Yeah.
Because I fell asleep the other times.
Well, we don't ever see like a full game or anything. We just see them like talking while they happen to be playing chess.
Yeah.
Because remember from the X-Men the first one when they played chess?
Yeah, no, I guess like I was thinking about it because it's like I don't know, I kind of wanted to like watch it with
Sometimes we play chess together from time to time.
watch it with Jess because it's kind of like a soft reboot.
Right. Yeah,
like,
you can watch that.
You can watch it without really knowing anything about the X-Men, but I was thinking, I'm like, oh, but like there's still like a lot of like kind of ham-handed references in the movie where it's like, where she's like,
right. Oh yeah, like Cerebro shows up and they don't even really explain it. They're just like, it's Cerebro, here it is.
No, I just mean like kind of like cheesy dialogue where there's a part where Mystique says to like Xavier, she's like, oh, you sound like an old fart or something like that.
Sound like an old man in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Who's
and
bald.
then he's like, oh, she's like, you're a professor, and then he's like, I actually like I have to be teaching a class to be called a professor, but she's like, oh, but you could be the professor, but it's like now that I'm like older and like in the real world, it's like there's no way I would call anyone who's not actually teaching like at an institution a professor. Like, why would you do that? Like, because he didn't get a doctorate, did he? He just got like some degree that made him good enough to be able to teach it.
That's a good point.
University or
that's
college.
A good point. I never thought about that because maybe it's different in. Is he in Britain at that point? By that point,
yeah,
maybe it's a little different there. But at least in Canada and from what I understand, the U.S., you don't really need a degree to be a professor.
You just need to be good at something.
You just need to teach at a college or university. That's what.
Yeah, that's what I guess. I guess that'd be different in England.
Maybe it's different there, and maybe they have a more strict definition of professor.
Is Matthew Vaughn British?
Probably, because all of his movies revolve around Britain, except for Kick-Ass.
Kick-Ass, but Aaron Taylor Johnson is British, though.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So, like, what if he, like...
And Mark Millar is British, I think. And he wrote
they shot some of Kick-Ass in London. Or at least the second one. Yeah, I looked it up. Yeah. Well, no, I read it in a magazine.
But he didn't even do the second one, Matthew Vaughn.
Oh. Oh, well. I guess that information is useless.
We'll just say, yeah, he's British.
He probably isn't. Or is he? Frick. All filmmakers are American, don't you know?
No. My favorite filmmaker is not American, such as Edgar Wright.
And Denis Villeneuve?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. He's pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, no, so it's pretty ham-handed at times.
Right. Yeah, they're like, you should be called Magneto. That part's always bothered me.
Yeah, it's kind of dumb.
Why? Why would you call him Magneto?
When you watch those video essays about why X-Men First Class is like amazing on YouTube, none of them are gonna show that scene.
No,
I'm telling you right now.
Oh no, because it seems stupid. You should be called Professor X, which is just your initial and the word professor. Yeah. Okay, that's not a code name. That's just like Mr. S.
And we're gonna be having a Dr. X happening.
Yeah, Dr. X is even better. That's better. That sounds like something cool. Yeah. Professor X doesn't sound like anything.
That was Ted's radio show name.
Oh right.
How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, exactly. That's already a better code name than
Dr. X.
Yeah. Well, why doesn't she call him like, you should be called Mind Power Man because you have mind power?
Like, telepatho.
Why would she say that? It's just like a stupid like, oh, this comics, get it moment, but they don't.
Magneto is a dumb made up word.
And Magneto is also stupid.
Yeah.
and like a stupid name. He's a cool character, but he's got a dumb name.
No, he's really well done.
And he's the only thing that works about that movie, except for again his costume at the very end of the movie.
Oh, it looks like garbage.
Which we've talked about probably like multiple times on this podcast.
Yeah,
but
no,
I will always bring it up whenever I have an opportunity to make fun of his dumbass costume at the end.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it looks really stupid.
It looks awful.
It's probably something to do with the fact that the movie
was that a reshoot?
They
run out of money?
No, they just ran because they started shooting 11 production. They started production 11 months before the release date.
Yeah, that's
which is insane.
It's a very quick turnaround.
So it's a miracle that anything about that movie works as a movie.
Yeah, and most of it does.
Yeah.
It's just like I have a few nitpicks with it. Mostly just the ending I think is a little bit rushed.
Yeah.
The stuff with Magneto and Xavier I think is good.
Yeah.
But it's more just like how Mystique's like, and I'm bad too also.
At the end?
Yeah, and it's like, why? She's like, because Magneto wanted to fuck me when I was blue. And even though you're like basically my only friend, Xavier, you didn't want to fuck me, so I'm gonna go with him now and abandon you while you're paralyzed and bleeding out. Good luck. And then all the bad guys who are they're like, well, prison rules, I guess. This guy killed our boss, so I guess we work for him, maybe. It was just like kind of
confusing.
Yeah, it's just like, we gotta like
messy.
We gotta like shoehorn in they have to have like I would be fine with like I get it. They have to do the like big like I'm a villain moment for Magneto and stuff. But like I would have been kind of interested to see it end without them like breaking up and stuff like that. I guess more because that's what I was expecting based on the other X-Men movies where like in X-Men 3 we see that like
they're like
they're still friends and recruiting they're recruiting Jean Grey and they're still working together and stuff like that.
Yeah, because it's like, we were once friends, and it's like, well, by the basis of this movie, it's like
you were friends for
like a week,
for like a couple weeks, and then
you had a big falling out. It never seemed like the friendship really sunk into place. Yeah. Like you were both already kind of sunk into your own ideologies before you met.
Yeah, before
you clashed, you butt heads a bit, but learned how to get along, and then broke up. That's not a friendship.
I don't know if that's really a friendship.
No,
you played chess a couple times, but that's it. Like I think it's just like it worked. Like if you don't think about it that hard in the context of the other movies, it's fine.
Like it works as a movie on its own. Mm-hmm. I think.
Yeah, it's more like when you try to like connect it to the other ones.
So that's the thing is that I think if when it went all or nothing, I think that would work. Where it's like, no, this is like a reboot. Like you can start from watching it from this movie. There's not going to be there'll be references to the comics obviously, but nothing directly tying it to other movies or whatever. Like you can just go into this one blind. Or it's like, this is within the continuity of those original films. We're going to be paying very close attention to that. Because that's kind of where...
Well, that's a problem with all the X... Well...
Anytime... It's not a problem. It's not a problem with
maybe it's not until First
Until
Class.
They make...
No,
it's not a problem until they make origin movies.
Yeah, until they start doing prequels. Which is the problem with most prequels, is either they are bad, or they contradict stuff, or it's pointless, or some kind of combination.
The thing that was the thing is that there isn't anything. I don't think there's anything nearly as world breaking in like the Star Wars prequels relative to their originals.
Like compared to the X-Men.
Yeah, where
prequels?
it's like that, like where there's things where it's like
that happened
certain
differently.
Continuity things where it's like that clearly doesn't line up and like.
Yeah, I guess like there definitely is stuff with Star Wars, like how Obi-Wan's like, Yoda trained me, and then it's like, it turns out Qui-Gon trained him and stuff like that.
And Yoda was there as well,
but like
it's not like hard to believe that
it's
Yoda
not like,
had trained him at some point.
Yeah, it doesn't like directly like completely contradict the timeline or like
no, there's no
like that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's more. Yeah, it's more like even Origins Wolverine kind of like. And Cyclops was there too.
That movie was trying way too hard.
And then they like redo like his whole origin, even though we like saw that pretty much in X2 and that kind of stuff. And they give him the bone claws, even though they sort of kind of
imply
that
they
it
redo
didn't
his origin
happen.
in the next one, Apocalypse.
And then they do it again in Apocalypse because we got to do it we got to do his origin 10 times.
I feel like Scott's origin was only cool in that one X-Men cartoon.
The Wolverine and the X-Men?
I don't know. I just remember seeing someone did one excellent scene from it, and like I remember watching. It was probably Wolverine and the X-Men, but they did like his full origin. And I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you can do cool.
Yeah.
Well, they've
But that's the thing
really
is
done an interesting version of his origin. They just kind of been like, and he shows up in Wolverine, even though there's no reason for him to be there, and then Xavier finds him at the end.
Yeah.
That's his origin.
I don't know. Yeah.
Also, Emma Frost's here, but she's totally different than the one
from
First Class.
Origins. Yeah,
Don't worry
Origins
about
came
it.
out first.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I guess this is fine. But like I don't know. You know what? Like, if you just say the premise of X-Men First Class is kind of great, or it's like, oh, the mutants have to stop the Cold War, or like,
right, yeah, it's
like,
super fun.
That's like kind of awesome.
That is a great idea. Yeah, they work for the CIA to like
and stop
World
the
Cold War from happening.
Yeah,
because there's an evil mutant who's trying to get the Cold War to happen.
Yeah, like think about how
fun.
that's like super great. You know.
Yeah, and it makes it a fun period piece, but it also takes place when the X-Men comics were first invented, so it like kind of makes sense to be set in that era.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff about it.
It's really and it's the only movie where they don't Professor he doesn't get Professor X.
Professor X. He doesn't get taken out at any point in the movie. He just actually has his powers the whole time.
And his powers have limitations.
Yeah. Right, but there's like it's like good, like well written.
Yeah, where it's like he can't just like he's written into scenarios where his powers can't just make him win the movie.
Right. Yeah.
But that's the thing is that like as soon as you like write something like.
Yeah, well, because that's that's why he gets taken out in all the other movies is because the writers realize he's too powerful and would just solve all the problems right away. Yeah. Unless we take him out somehow.
But like if you think about like.
But in First Class, they actually like, okay, well, let's have him go up against obstacles that are either an equal match for him or above that, so he actually has a challenge.
Yeah,
such as another psychic,
another telepath, right?
Yeah.
So that's what's kind of great in that is that if you think about the first X-Men, Charles' greatest obstacle is a metal helmet.
Right, because he puts on the...
Because Magneto puts on a helmet, and then he puts on Cerebro, and it's like, I can't find him, he's wearing a helmet.
Yeah. But then they put the green goo in Cerebro, and he has like a heart attack. And he's like taken out for the rest of the movie. Do you remember that?
Then the first X-Men?
Yeah, like Mystique sneaks into the mansion as Iceman, and she's like, Rogue, everyone hates you, you should leave. And then he goes into the Cerebro room, and then she puts a tube of green goo into Cerebro and like hooks it up to it.
I have not seen this movie in a while.
Yeah, this is what happened. And then
I believe you. It's just.
And then later when they're like, Rogue's gone, and Xavier's like, don't worry, I'll find her using Cerebro. And then he like goes,
oh no, the green
goo gets activated, and he like freaks out and like goes into a coma and gets taken. That's how he gets Professor X.
I thought he got
the rest of the movie.
I thought he got Professor X because Magneto was wearing a helmet.
Well, that's why he can't find Magneto.
Guess I gotta sit this one out.
That's why he can't. That's why he can't find Magneto specifically, but he can find like other people like Rogue and stuff. Yeah. The second one's a little bit better too, because there's like another mutant with like sort of mind control.
Yeah.
Abilities. Well, he can like make you see stuff that isn't there.
Or kind of get in your head that way, I guess. Mm-hmm. It's like hallucination powers, I guess.
Yeah, it's a little. They don't explain exactly how it works, but it doesn't really matter.
No. I think that's always better. Is if you can understand something by what you're given, don't over-explain it, because that's just like
Yeah, well, I can only do it when the sun is at whatever. It's like, no, it's just
Yeah.
he can do this thing. That's his power.
No,
Moving on.
Yeah, and that reminds me of like Avatar. How like I've been watching that recently, and just like how they do all the different bendings and how they all like and how like the like magic system for the universe is really easy to understand, and it feels pretty equal all around. Like it just seems like you can beat anyone with any element as depending on how good you are.
Yeah,
like it's
depending on
like,
how much you've trained.
it's no like rock paper scissors thing. Like it's just like anyone can fight anyone, even people without bending. Like it's just like I don't know. It's just like kind of like
it's
really easy, I guess.
Yeah, it works because it's very simple. Which I think is what maybe that's the main reason I don't like the bending as much in like Korra, because
it gets kind of ridiculous.
It gets a little overcomplicated and ridiculous, and like
I think
everyone has the maximum amount of bending at all times, so it kind of like feels like no one's that good. Like it's kind of like if everyone's the best bender ever, then like it's kind of irrelevant to train it all and like all the stuff that the first show was about. And then they're like, there's like a lot more like, if you were a really good bloodbender, you can take away people's bending with this stuff.
And I feel like every season has like one or two like elements that are like world breaking.
Yeah,
and I there's
almost every character has like some unique crazy bending technique that they can do, and like Zahir can fly, and there's like another lady who can shoot sparky boom man powers, and there's like a lava bender. Everyone's a metal bender.
And like I don't know, to be honest, I think season 2 is the most world breaking, I would say.
Right.
Like it's world breakingness, and I think I think season 1 is honestly the most tame.
Yeah.
In world breakingness, because they even have like an explanation for it.
Yeah, they do kind of back it up with like sometimes every once in a while there's like
once in a blue moon
there's someone with like a crazy bending power.
Yeah.
Such as blood bending.
Yeah.
But
and the whole thing with like taking people's bending away with it, I kind of inferred that was like him using bloodbending to like block chi.
That's
essentially.
Yeah, that's sort of what I figured it was also.
Because
they talk about that.
Yeah.
You know, with like what's her name, Happy Girl from the first show, not May, but the other one.
Ty Lee. Yeah, because she
can like use like pressure points and stuff to like block.
And that's what the Equalists do in season 1.
Yeah, and that's what they do also.
They do the same techniques
to like block your bending temporarily. So so like connecting the dots here is like, okay, so it's like that, but it's permanent. So it's blood bending messing up your aura or your chi or whatever.
Yeah.
Your chakras or whatever Buddhist nonsense that they're peddling this week. Not to say, I just mean like, you know.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah. No, but I do like chi as an aspect of it, because it shows that like there's like a limitation. Like it's like bending is almost like a muscle, where like if you bend a lot, you get tired.
And that's sort of the whole idea. Like you get it right away because they're all based on specific martial arts.
Yeah,
and that's the idea. Is it's a martial arts show with superpowers, where like you if you're really good at martial arts, you can do superpowers. Basically.
Yeah, like especially I think Avatar more so than Korra.
Yeah, Korra's just for the
era.
Korra's just like if you concentrate hard enough, you can do a bending.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that
it's not even about technique.
Korra, it's interesting because that show the era almost negates any kind of like need for that kind of technique. Like it's like the people who actually study technique are like the main heroes and stuff, where the villains kind of use bending as like a weapon to oppress people, like with like the like triad in season 1 of Korra. It's just like basically like a mob gang of benders who oppress people with superpowers, essentially, who don't have superpowers, and so that's why the equalist movement starts in the first place, is because the society isn't even about martial arts anymore, because because they're in an era of peace, right?
They're in an era of peace and an era of technology, or whatever.
Yeah, so it's not like learning to fight isn't what the culture's about anymore, because everyone has cars and like jobs, and like it's like
yeah, which is again I think why that season is the strongest, and they exploring more interesting ideas of like hey, there is kind of like this weird danger to people that are born with
because
magic
it brings
powers.
It brings it closer to what our world looks like today, where Avatar's more kind of medieval, with some kind of industrial elements based on what bending can give you. So it's like they have like a train system run by earthbending, which is really cool. And
the Fire Nation has been able to like do an industrial revolution
and coal and stuff because they have fire.
They know how to manipulate fire.
A lot more metal and like
and
complex.
It's also it's
factories,
like it's like the Lord of the Rings like industrial complex. Like industrial revolution is bad metaphor. Like it's the same idea. Nature good. Factory bad. Same with Star Wars a little bit, where Ewok good. Big weapon thingy bad.
And like walker thingies bad. Base in forest bad.
Korra season 1 pretty good. I wish they gave them more time and more budget for the rest of the series.
The rest of the series, I think I say the rest of the season, but like that season and the whole series.
Because then it was just gonna be that one season, and they're like, oh, it's kind of good, make more, but here's not as much money, and make 3 more seasons.
Because I don't think that's like a bad approach, is to have like a new villain every season. Because if you already did that once, then like you kind of are stuck in that, because then it's like why would she fight this one random guy and then have this one villain for like 3 more years, or like 3 seasons would be the next villain or whatever. Because it's like, did they know that they had 3 more seasons after the first one?
Well, I think not initially, because initially it was just going to be the first season, which is why that season like wraps up the story pretty much. It ends with her getting airbending. She's at the end of where Aang was at the end of his journey. She's at the same point.
That's kind of what they were intending with that. It very much feels like that. And then I think Nickelodeon was like, hey, that did well and people liked it, so make more. And I think it was make 3 more at that point, which is why season 2, and it's like, and you have not enough money and enough time to like really get it right. So, which is why season 2 is like them kind of scrambling to figure out what to do. It's kind of like the trashiest of all the seasons.
And then 3 and 4 they like kind of figure out what they want to do with the show more or less. But it's also like, because it's just like a villain of the week plot every season. It doesn't feel like it has a clear direction overall the seasons. Which I think is also kind of disappointing, because that's like one of the best things about Avatar, is that it has a clear end goal. So it feels like every episode is important, every arc matters, everything that happens culminates to the main thing they're building towards, where you don't really feel that the same way in Korra,
because it's not
really that.
It's not that. No. And I think that's I don't think that's an incorrect way to do storytelling.
Not necessarily, no, because there's lots of other stuff where it's like, oh, we do a one-off thing, and then we do a sequel, and then another sequel, and it ends up pretty good overall. But
I think it's just those longer, overarching, like character arcs, like, Aang, a character arc that lasts 64 episodes.
Yeah.
Like, legit.
Yeah.
Zuko, a character arc that lasts 64 episodes. Like, jeez.
It's a one distinct arc,
And you see...
And, like, with Korra, it's like she has a different arc every season.
Yeah.
And like, the second season, she just kind of repeats her arc from the first season. Yeah. And then 3 and 4, they, like, kind of connect a little bit. But it's also sort of two different chapters. I don't know. It's just not quite as tight. And it's obviously not, like... It would be unfair to judge any other Nickelodeon show to Avatar, but you kind of have to with Korra because it's a direct sequel.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is that I think that saying that we can judge it against Avatar really credits the actual quality of the show, because if it was trash, it's like, no, it's like completely Avatar's in a completely different league than Korra. We can say Avatar is amazing and Korra is pretty good. Like, it's
still like a very high quality show.
Yeah.
And the fact that they did manage...
Well, most TV shows are not good.
The fact that they did manage to recapture a lot of the elements that did work about Avatar is kind of extremely impressive. It's just that, like, it's not quite as strong, which is, Avatar's like one of the, probably, I would argue, the greatest, animated show ever. At least from America.
Yeah,
I haven't seen enough anime to judge that, because there's a lot of animes that exist. But in terms of American animated stuff, it's the best one.
No, it's probably, like, it's hard. I don't know. I feel weird saying anything's perfect, but, like, it's just like, I don't know. If that, like,
any flaws that it has are very, very minor.
Yeah.
And it's so strong. It sticks
the landing in so many ways.
Yeah, it ended. Yeah, and how it ended so strong that
at the end, when you have
makes the whole thing worth it in the end.
A show that's entire last season feels like as strong as the season finale of most TV shows. Like, that's how I felt watching season 3 of Avatar. It's like, I don't know. I feel like watching it again, like, I almost kind of like break it into like two halves, where you have everything kind of before the Day of Black Sun and then everything kind of after. Right. And Day of Black Sun's kind of like that, like, hinge in the whole season.
Yeah, it's the midpoint.
Everything before the Day of Black Sun, honestly, a lot of those episodes are kind of like season 1 episodes in a weird way.
Oh yeah.
Where they kind of reiterate some of the character arcs that, like, we kind of already, like, episodes like the Painted Lady, where it's like we already kind of know that that's how Katara is and that's how everyone else is, and, like,
right, yeah, you could maybe skip that
you could maybe go without that episode, but it's not like a bad episode by any means.
Yeah,
because it does flesh out the world. The fact is they're helping, like, I'm pretty sure it's a Fire Nation.
It's a Fire Nation.
It's a Fire Nation town.
City. They've just
that's been affected by the war. So it's like, it just kind of any episode of Avatar that's filler, in quotations, builds the world. So it's
still,
like,
and so it's
still doing a job in that way.
Being interesting.
Yeah,
and you get to see a little more about the spirits in that,
like, the lore and stuff.
It's kind of fun. So it still ends up working out.
The Painted Lady does the same thing to Katara that Santa Claus does to Squidward in the SpongeBob
You're
episode.
Right. That's the exact same episode.
It's the exact same episode.
Oh, man. That is the hottest take I've ever seen. The Painted Lady is just the SpongeBob Christmas special. Changed my mind. Yeah, that's incredible. It's literally just that.
You could put in a clip of the two endings side by side.
Dear Squidward, thanks for all your help.
Thank you.
Thanks for helping out the town, Squidward. It's me, the Painted Lady. Yeah, it's like, the Painted Lady was real because through Katara, everyone got presents from Squidward from his house. Oh, we did it. We reached
Anyways, and then
peak stupid nothing.
the last half of season 3, it kind of feels like season 1 as well, but like Zuko is there.
Right. It's Team Avatar
And so-
going on adventures with Zuko.
Yeah.
So the dynamic is totally different.
It's totally different,
Yeah.
and it's awesome.
It's great.
I think that's kind of where season 3 really hits its stride, is the Day of Black Sun through to the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Is every episode in that stretch is really,
excellent.
really, really strong.
Yeah.
And does a lot for the characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, major character development stuff with Aang, with Zuko, with Katara. She finally finds the guy that killed her mom.
Yeah.
Like, it's like really big stuff.
Yeah.
When's the bloodbending episode? Is that before that? That's a good one also.
I think so, yeah, because that's kind of when they're having, like, going from town to town, having different adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's just good because it's like dark and creepy and cool.
Yeah, and then we see the kind of follow through of that where Katara ends up using bloodbending, like...
Yeah. Against the guy she thinks killed her
yeah.
dad. It's not...
Yeah.
Or
And
killed her mom.
I think that kind of... That darkness and complexity, like, it really makes Katara a lot more complex to have that darkness to her.
And it's really cool. Like, it's a cool episode, too.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, she doesn't really end up forgiving the guy at the
Yeah.
end. And he's like, good work, you forgived him, peace won. Peace and love won the day. And she's like, I straight up did not forgive him, and I don't know if I ever will.
Yeah.
I just didn't kill him. that was the line that I drew.
It just, like, ends.
Yeah.
And you're like, ooh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's really, really great.
But I am ready to forgive you, and then she just hugs Zuko. Oh,
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. No, it's perfect. Like, that's what I started realizing about, like, I don't know, like any movie, any TV shows, that it's like, honestly, like, the external goal doesn't matter so long as the character progresses.
Right, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
There's that one episode of How I Met Your Mother I watched recently where Barney's trying to find this girl who keeps like he'll talk to a girl, he'll leave, and a random blonde girl talks to the girl he's talking to, says, this guy's a jerk, leaves, he comes back, we're like, oh, you're a jerk. And so he's trying to find her. At the end of the episode, they don't find her, but Barney apologizes. He hasn't apologized for the entire episode, but the episode works because he apologizes at the end. He apologizes to the wrong person.
Right.
It was just a completely different random person, and then they don't find the person. But it's like, if you look at that on paper, you're like, that's so stupid. They spend this whole episode and they drag it out. They go through this whole bracket, and there's this debate, and like, it's like if you look at it on paper and they don't find the person at the end of the episode. It's like,
do you know
that's so stupid? But
right.
like, it doesn't matter.
What was the point of that episode?
The point is that Barney apologized to someone.
Yeah, which he never does.
He never did before that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Do they ever find? I can't remember, but are any of those like women that he show up in that episode like actors that they had used in previous episodes?
Yeah.
Are some of them? When they go back, like, oh, maybe it's her, and they like go back and find someone he dated, or like those like you can pinpoint. Oh yeah, he dated her in this episode. Like, can you find that? Is it like that? Or
it's like that for the most part.
Okay,
because there's one where it's like, oh, this is the girl that, and like, he always he says before he sees them, it's like because he's going with Lily's, he's like, oh, this is the one that I just left in the apartment that you and Marshall bought while it was still being sold.
Right.
I told her it was my place, and then I left. Right. And then it's the same actor, and like,
okay,
because that's like 2 episodes ago, so it's not even like that's hard to follow if you're binging.
Right.
And so
that's the attention to detail I appreciate from him. Yeah. How are we doing?
Yeah, we're doing good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, new SpongeBob movie's coming.
Is it?
It's actually out.
Oh.
It's got Keanu Reeves in it, so that automatically means it's good, right?
No.
Are you telling me you didn't like the 1990 something Francis Ford Coppola film Bram Stoker's Dracula, where Keanu Reeves has a really bad English accent?
What?
The Dracula movie with Keanu Reeves.
I haven't seen this.
Oh.
You're basically just talking nonsense to me right now.
No, it's a movie.
Why is this relevant though?
Because you said that a movie isn't automatically good just because it has Keanu Reeves in it, and I was giving you an example of a movie that I don't think is that good, and also Keanu Reeves is in it, and he's also bad in the movie.
I really like Keanu Reeves in A Much Ado About Nothing, not the Joss Whedon one, but the Kenneth Branagh one,
I don't think I've
starring
seen that.
Denzel Washington, Kenneth Branagh, Emma Thompson,
Big cast.
Keanu Reeves, the one guy from House that's not House, that's also in
Okay.
Swing Kids.
Okay, maybe I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, the one who's like, House, you're a jerk. And he's like, yeah, well, you're...
That's like every character in a
And
house.
he's like, yeah, well, you're...
Is it the black guy?
No, he's
It's
white.
the white guy?
It's the white guy who's his
Okay.
friend.
Okay, I sort of know who you mean.
Robert something. I never,
Sure,
I
alright.
never remember. But yeah. Sorry, what was I saying? What was I ranting about? I was ranting about the Much Ado
The
About
Much
Nothing.
Ado About
Yeah, Keanu
Nothing.
Reeves is not good in that movie. But
Does he do a British accent? Or no? Is it
no.
like a modern day
It's like
one?
it's like semi-modern. It's kind of confusing
Oh, okay.
when it's supposed to take place.
We're not
Then again,
sure.
I did watch this movie like 6 years ago, so.
Why do people keep doing modern day Shakespeare? I don't get it. I'm sorry if you like the modern day,
I
one
don't
of the
even like
modern day
In the
Shakespeare.
context
Well, I don't even like it in the
medieval time.
context of its current time, but I think if you're gonna do it at all, you should at least do it at that. So you're not, so it's not like normal looking people speaking fucking nonsense. It's at least like wacky looking people speaking nonsense.
Yeah, so
That's
it's
right.
like,
Everyone from the 16th century looked like a wacky person. You heard me.
well, yeah,
I don't
they didn't-
remember what century Shakespeare was
They
from, but
didn't
that's
brush
what
their
I'm
teeth.
saying.
Of course, they were gonna look wacky.
Yeah.
No one took regular showers or like.
The Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio is a bad movie, and you should feel bad if you like it.
Two households, both alike in dignity.
It's very dumb.
Yeah, that's not a.
It's like, just fucking do it how it is supposed to be. If you're not gonna change any of the words at all, then why are you like pretend? Oh, it's modern day.
Because it's, I don't know, to be honest, the first time I saw it, I kind of loved how stupid it was.
I guess. It's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, it's
This is some bold choices.
bold new choices, yeah. Really, yeah. I don't
This
know,
is how Billy Shakes wanted it to be told.
Are they making movies still? Like in general?
Not really.
No. Just imagining you're like
Well,
watching, it's like, oh, we finally finished this movie. Like it's like the new Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah.
And like the first half of the movie, everything's normal, but in the second half of the movie, everyone's like wearing masks.
I mean, I think some productions have resumed again. I know New Zealand was has had 0 cases for like months.
Mm-hmm.
So they like whatever movies they were making, I think, are resumed. Like Avatar 2 and all the other subsequent sequels are
Yes.
being filmed there. So I think those are still being worked on. Yeah, I don't know. At one point, I think Matrix 4 resumed filming, but who knows now? It's kind of all over the place, and Hollywood is losing lots and lots of money because no movies have come out for months, and some theaters are reopening nowish, but there still isn't really any movies that are out to like put in them, except for SpongeBob, the new one, and I think the new Bill and Ted might still be coming out, so that'd be cool. We watched. I rewatched both of them recently, and they're great. But the second one like kind of wraps everything up, and I didn't remember that it did that. So now I'm like, are they just gonna forget about that for the third one, or
Like
what are they doing?
Oh yeah, they have like they go back in time and they come back to the future or the present. They have like kids and like.
Yeah, well, like the plot is they have to make it to the Battle of the Bands. There's like a Battle of the Bands show in their town or whatever, and they have to play it, and because they're once they play that, it'll launch their musical career, which then, saves humanity from war and everything, right? That's what the whole thing is.
That's
that
amazing.
They become so influential in the future that they like create world peace and stuff like that, like based on the philosophy of like their music and stuff. And so at the end of Bill and Ted 2 Bogus Journey, spoiler alert, they make it to the Battle of the Bands, they like stop the bad guy and all the blah blah blah.
Oh, I've seen this
and
movie.
they make it out of hell.
After playing board games of death.
After beating death in games such as Battleship and Twister. And they're like, all right, we made it. Now we got to play the Battle of the Bands. We still don't know how to play at all. Well, wait, why don't we just use the time machine to like get good, and then we'll come back when we're ready. So then they do that, and then they're like a few years older, and they have like kids and stuff, and they're like, well, here we go, we're ready to play the show now. It's been a couple years, and we got good. Yeah. So then they play the show, and then the like end credits is like a montage of like their career, like building and world peace is being achieved like simultaneously. So it, like kind of like wraps up this whole the main story. So I don't know really what the third one is gonna do. Maybe they'll just forget about all that. Be like, come on guys, you gotta make the music that saves the world. Now's your big chance. I don't know. Bill and Ted is pretty good. Second one I think is a little more fun and a little bit better because the first one is basically just like one idea where it's like, oh, they used the time machine to go back and collect Abraham Lincoln, and that's the movie.
And the second one,
they
die.
They die. They go to hell. They go to heaven. They meet aliens. They fight evil robot versions of themselves. It's like all over the place, and it's amazing.
Never feels like scattered. Like it just.
No, yeah, because like one thing leads to another, right?
That's fun.
And it like, and because there's all these like crazy wacky things happening, like it's extremely entertaining because you never really know what's gonna happen next, and it's fun to see these like goofy dumb characters in these like insane situations, like meeting God and aliens and stuff. Anyways, how's it going? 47. Oh man, what a we barely cracked the surface of a normal nothing cast.
I mean, if we want to, this is a shit transition because it's from 3 topics ago. I remember you mentioned that they're still shooting the James Cameron Avatar.
Right.
Movie. It's never coming out.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it in the theater. I'm actually kind of curious because it's like been so long. I'm like, this better be the best movie of all time. Because why else is it taking this long?
I want to watch it. You know, I finished like since Avatar came out, I have finished middle school, high school, college, moved out and got married. To a woman I didn't know when Avatar came out.
Right.
That was like...
I think it'd be weirder.
To a woman that was 10 when Avatar came out.
I think it'd be weirder that if you did know her when Avatar came out.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, like...
Yeah, it's been so long.
What's up, man?
Yeah.
It's more of... I'm almost at a point where more of my life has been like if Avatar is the release date of Avatar is in the middle of my entire life, if you put that there, I'm almost at a point where I've been alive longer on the one half than after Avatar came out than before it came out.
That's a good point.
I think
you're very close. You might have passed it.
I think I already passed it.
Yeah, because you had your birthday no.
This year I'm going to pass that.
Yeah, you're going to pass this on your birthday in 3 days.
I don't know if that made any sense, but if we draw, if we draw a picture, it will.
Yeah, because you're going to be 21.
Yeah.
In 3 days.
Yeah.
Avatar came out in 2009. The end of 2009.
End of 2009.
So I guess
I was 10.
When you were 10.
Yeah,
so
I was 10. Yeah, I'm going to turn 21.
Yeah, so it'll be, I guess, if you want to go technically from when Avatar came out,
it
would be this December.
Yeah.
But it's been 11 years since Avatar came out, basically.
Yeah.
And you're 21 years old, which means that this year you've been alive longer after Avatar came out than before
it came out.
Yeah.
And this movie supposedly has a sequel.
Yeah, that they've been working on since the first one came.
That's stupid.
Yes.
It's funny as I didn't even want to talk about James Cameron's Avatar, but now we've gone down this route.
Yeah, now we have to keep going. Yeah, like there's this YouTuber I love named Jenny Nicholson, and she did a video where she did this like really, really deep dive into the Avatar theme park, where she went on all the rides and like tried to
that's a thing?
learn about.
I forgot.
Yeah, it's part of Disney World.
Yeah. You mean the NBA?
Yeah, that's right. And there's like some stuff that like show like some video screens and stuff that show like clips from the movie and stuff like that. And she was like saw some kids like walking by like enjoying the theme park or whatever because there's like fun rides and whatever, and then there was like some of the kids were like, wait, there's a movie? Because they were like not alive when the movie came out. They didn't even know that this whole part of the theme park was based on a movie.
Yeah, because it kind of with Avatar is so interesting in how it's both very very influential and not at all,
and completely
irrelevant, inconsequential, forgettable, all at once.
Yeah,
I don't think a movie has ever been like that since Avatar. Where
not quite.
It's kind of infamous.
The same level for sure. Yeah, because like there's no like characters or like story elements or even really design elements that have really been carried over like culturally into other like pop culture properties or anything.
Everything about Avatar was recycled from
other stuff,
stories.
so that's part of it. Yeah. But the same thing can be said for Star Wars, and then every movie that came after Star Wars was a Star Wars ripoff. Yeah. So
that's the thing is that it feels like a cheap Star Wars ripoff. Like if you think about it that way, but the thing is that it wasn't cheap. It was very expensive, very well made.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a huge budget epic. Yeah. With a lot of time and effort put into it.
That held a #1 spot in the box office for like ever.
Yeah, until last year when Avengers.
Everyone and their mother went to see Avatar.
Yeah. Everyone and their grandmother.
No one cares about it.
No one cares anymore. It's so weird. Like people still, Titanic is still more culturally relevant now, like 20 years after that came out, over 20 years after that came out, than Avatar, which came out just 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like that's insane.
There's so
many memes about Titanic.
I heard "My Heart Will Go On" in a store on the radio.
Did you have? When was the last time you heard? When was the last time you heard "I See You," the hit song from Avatar?
At the end credits of the movie, the last time I saw it, which is probably like 5 years ago, I'm guessing. I probably watched it and I'm like, oh, let's see if this holds up. That was pretty good, and I walked away.
Like that's it's a perfectly fine movie. Like there's nothing wrong with it. No. It's not bad. It's just without the like big spectacle of wow, the 3D is really cool. Yeah. It doesn't have much of a lasting impact. Yeah. Which is very weird because it is like an extremely famous movie, made the most money of any movie other than one other one that just came out last year.
Oh yeah, Zoe Saldana's in both of those movies.
That's true. She's the key. Pirates of the Caribbean, the best one is the first one, which has Zoe Saldana in it. The rest of them, not as good. You know why? She's not in it.
The new Star Trek movies, they're all pretty good. She's in all of them.
Yeah. It's the secret to success. Zoe Saldana.
Casting her as...
You're welcome, Hollywood.
Casting her in a space movie.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, put some space in it, or some pirates, or some kind of combination.
Space pirates.
Put
That's
her-
gonna be the next movie to top the box office.
It's just gonna call-
figure it out.
Just
It's gonna be a
call-
space pirate movie starring Zoe
Zoe-
Saldana.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what the plot is or anything. As long as you have space, pirates, and Zoe Saldana in it, it'll sell. We are welcome, Hollywood.
That's the equation.
Yeah,
We cracked the code.
yeah, the Zoe Saldana vehicle. How would you like to be top billed, Zoe Saldana? I've never been top billed before.
Always been second.
I've always been the love interest in such hits as Drumline.
I forgot she was in that
Have
movie.
you seen Drumline?
I've seen Drumline. Are you asking me if I've had a substitute music teacher before? Because the answer is yes.
Oh, that was a good joke.
Fuck. Oh,
Oh,
that's not a bad movie.
it's fine.
Yeah.
It's a like a sports movie or like a dance movie.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a dance movie?
I watched
Before?
I watched Take the Lead, starring Dante Bosco and Antonio Banderas.
Okay, maybe that's that. But or
It would be like it feels like Drumline, but for dancing.
right.
where
Yeah,
it's like,
well, that's
oh, we
that's
gotta-
like
We
step
gotta
up or
teach
something
these
like
inner
that.
city kids how to do ballroom dancing, and it's
Oh,
like
okay.
ballroom dancing. All they want to do is hip hop, but then like they get really into the ballroom dancing because they like dancing
Right.
already. But I don't know. I'm explaining this really badly, but it makes sense when you watch the movie.
Right.
And
I get the
because
idea.
it teaches like, and then the parents are all like, "Why are you teaching them ballroom dancing? It's supposed to be running detention for them," because that's what it is. Is that he runs like detention, but like, but his version of detention is teaching them ballroom dancing, and then he's like,
It's
"Oh, it teaches
protected.
them respect and like, like patience and coordination and
Mhm.
all these good skills
And
that
how to
carry
count
over
to
life."
For
How to
or whatever.
respect a woman, because
Does it?
he there's a scene where he explains
How
all
it
these
does?
things
Okay.
way better than I am in this moment, or I ever could in my life. Yeah. And also, it's like if you have that just like if you exude sex the way Antonio Banderas does, you'll believe what he's saying.
Right.
And I don't, so he's got that going for him.
He's so sexy that he's a good teacher.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, he talks and you're like, yeah, I believe you.
Mm-hmm.
You seem like a nice guy. What
You
was your
would-
point about dance movies, though?
They're all the same movie, and that movie is Drumline. Where his Drumline
Yeah.
is like a good. I guess it's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's just like the main character. He's like this drummer, and he plays the drums, and there's most of the big scenes are just like him doing drums good, and if you didn't care at all about drumming or music, you would not care at all about the movie. And then to make it feel like a movie and not just like a series of drum performances, there's a loose plot of his dad left or something,
He
and
can't read music.
he can't read music,
He's
so
just really
he
talented,
needs Zoe
so
Saldana to teach him or
He
something.
needs to learn.
He
He
has
never
a lot-
learned how to read.
He never learned how to read. Teach me to read. And then he's got a love interest, and then the kiss at the end. And Zoe Saldana in that movie is in a dance movie simultaneously. She's but she visits the drum movie that Drumline
It's
guy
like
is
the
in?
like the cheerleading movie that Justin Long is in that's inserted itself into Dodgeball.
Yes, exact. There you go. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Or Dodgeball is the same movie.
It's a
where it's like
dodgeball
it's a sports underdog movie.
Yeah.
But they're like self-aware that the point is that it's a stupid idea and it's like barely a sport, and that's the joke.
Yeah.
And then yes, within that there's also Justin Long has a secret, has a like B plot that's a whole cheerleading movie where like there's a girl he likes and they want him to be on the team, but he's kind of the underdog of the team and blah blah blah, and then like someone sprains their ankle or whatever at the last minute and he gets it. Yeah, it's the same fucking plot exactly of what's happening in the Dodgeball plot. And that's the same with like Drumline. Is like Zoe Saldana is like a dancer or whatever, so she's like doing a dance movie as like a B plot in the background, and then or a cheerleading movie or whatever she's doing. It's the same thing. It's all the same to me. The point of my story is
she could be cooking chicken and it would be the same movie.
It's all the same movie, but I like Drumline more than like something like Step Up because I like drumming more than dancing. That's my thesis.
Yeah.
You could stick anything in that formula if it's something you're interested in.
Like
you'd enjoy the movie.
Yeah, like honestly, I feel the same way about like actual like sports and stuff where like I found myself like I don't know, like I liked sports but then I was like kind of on them, and then I started getting into like esports and I'm like, like this is what I like. This is what I like, but then I'm like, but like it's just like that one layer of like if you just like it's like you watch it not because you like the sport but you love the drama behind it.
Right. And
so it's like by following the esports, it's like I'm understanding like the histories between different people and stuff, and so it's like like this is why actual sports like other sports are interesting is because of different players and their histories and and all of that, and so it's like I don't watch those sports because I find esports more interesting.
Right. Well, yeah, it's the same idea of it's a story is it's a story, right?
Yeah, it's a story, I just find
it's a very simple conflict to like wrap your head around.
And so it's the thing is that the sport is the external conflict.
Yeah.
And the external conflict doesn't really matter that much, and so it's just like a different coat of paint. I just happen to like that coat of paint more so than other coats of paint, but it's kind of almost like a vehicle that gets me into the drama. It's almost backwards in a weird way, where it's like you have to be sold on the external conflict before you learn the internal conflict.
Yeah, well, you have to find it at least somewhat interesting.
Yeah.
Because that's the majority of what you're watching.
Shooting balls into holes, and then I don't know, competitive, or it's like I don't know, like I guess I was never good at sports, and like I grew up playing video games, so when I see like people like dominating, I'm like, that's insane. Like,
you get like,
how do you even do that? Like,
you get like you're actually impressed.
Yeah, I'm like actually impressed because I've tried that before.
Because you know how hard it is to do that.
Yeah.
Compared to
like, sports where it's just always been hard. So I'm like,
right. So they're on such a different level than you that it's irrelevant how good they are.
Exactly.
It's so exponentially higher than in skill level that it all just becomes the same.
Exactly.
You can't tell like, the distinction between. Right. Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Drumline. Shouldn't even call this episode Nothing Cast. Just call it Drumline! Exclamation mark. How many Nothing Casts have there been? How many episodes?
We're 50, 51, 52. This should be 53.
53 episodes spanning like 5 years, like
something like that.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We should have like a
We should have more than that if we actually do this every week.
Yeah, no, we could have like a 5-year anniversary bash or something.
Right. I don't even know.
Anniversary special.
I don't even know when the first one came out.
Well, you can look it up.
It's
on your YouTube.
Is it though? Because I thought I put the first one on SoundCloud. And then I turned out you had to pay for SoundCloud after after 2 or 3 different things that you upload. So then I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm switching over to uploading them to YouTube because I don't want to pay money for something that doesn't make me any money.
All right, I'm going to your YouTube.
I might have re-uploaded it, but I don't remember. Was the first one the one where we... No, the first one we did... The first one I had like an actual list of topics that I wanted to talk about.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But they weren't like long topics. It was just like, hey, you know this movie Delivery Man with Vince Vaughn? I found out by going down a rabbit hole that it's a remake of a French Canadian movie called Starbuck. That's the exact same plot, but it doesn't star Vince Vaughn. And also it's the same director who remade the movie.
Yeah. So we just
I just find that weird and interesting.
Yeah. So this is Nothing Against the Phantom pilot, published on April 14th, 2016. The description is originally published in SoundCloud about a year ago.
Yeah. So wait. So when was this one?
This is from April.
It's from 2016.
So it's 2015.
2015. Roughly, based on my guess on the...
This episode we talk about Vince Vaughn, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., TMNT, and other stuff, probably. It's funny. You'll like it. None of that is true.
That's way more description than I normally put in there.
I'm going to go up to like a newer one, like one from like this.
I normally just say like, we talk about Star Wars or whatever. It's normally Star Wars.
Nothing cast. Come waste your time here. So we just talk about Smallville and Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And Star Wars, apparently, because why wouldn't we?
Oh, I didn't bring it. I have... Okay. Here's an episode. How long are we going?
We're going for...
Okay. Yeah. There's an episode I want to do at some point.
Yeah.
Because I found some Smallville novelizations at Value Village, and I want to do an episode where we read some of them, or like maybe not all of it, but like a few chapters.
We just
or
do
something.
Dramatic reading.
We do a dramatic reading, and I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah.
And we can make fun of it and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know when we do that, but
and I think
I have it in my suitcase, but not the one that I brought here. It's back at the other place.
Oh, you have one here?
No, not here. It's at the island.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, I would say we should do it. But,
no, I would love to do that. Yeah.
So we'll have to do it another time, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Should we end it? We've been going for over an hour. Unless you want to keep going.
I think we overstayed our welcome at minute 47.
Yeah, we're like, are we still going?
We're like, do we have to do this? What's
yes,
Drumline?
We're going to talk about Drumline for 20 more minutes. No, I'm just laughing at that. I've had a substitute teacher joke. Yeah, I've seen Stomp. I've had a substitute music teacher.
Have you seen Drumline before? Are you asking if I've had a substitute music teacher?
Because the answer is yes.
Yeah.
I watched that when I had my non-substitute music teacher one class.
In like middle school?
Yeah.
That's probably why I saw it, because we went to the same
I think
school.
it was like right before Christmas break or something. He's like, I don't feel like teaching, so we're watching a movie.
Yeah. I think he might even put on School of Rock the one day or something.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That seems like his MO. Like
one day in civics, I think I was.
Yeah.
A made-up class for Ontario, in case you were wondering what the fuck that is.
Half a semester.
Yeah.
That's how jokes it is.
Yeah, and there was one day we had, it was either like a Friday before like a break or something or whatever. It was like, okay, we're watching a movie today. Who wants to? Choices are Mean Girls or School of Rock, and I'm like, fuck yeah, School of Rock, and then everyone else voted for Mean Girls, and I'm like, why?
No, School of Rock's a better movie.
Yeah, it's way better.
I'm gonna say
I don't understand what happened.
Those are both movies that I've studied in first year script writing, and
Interesting. I guess that's fair. They're both like, pretty traditional 3-act
School,
structure, but
School of Rock
fine.
has a much more solid structure.
Yeah, well, it's
It's
just
overall
like a better
more
movie.
entertaining.
It's more fun.
I think Mean Girls.
It has some good parts probably.
It's some good parts, but I think Sky High just does all the themes of Mean Girls, but better.
But better and more fun.
And more fun, and like you just kind of, I don't know, like in Mean Girls, it's like, oh, she's a mean girl to like break into the gang, but then she actually becomes a mean girl and learns about not being mean. But it's like in Sky High, it's like he just like gets superpowers and suddenly joins the popular kids, and he's so naive and endearing that like it goes to his head, and you get that, you understand that.
Yeah, because suddenly he's not
doesn't
only
know
popular,
what to do with it,
but he can lift a truck on his shoulders or whatever.
Right, and it's like you just, I don't know, it just felt movies more relatable.
Just overall better if there's like a sci-fi or supernatural element to them?
I don't know.
Because I think yes, and here maybe I can't explain why exactly. Yeah. But if you like show me a movie and it's like a drama with these interesting characters and their interpersonal relationships, and they go through, defined arcs, and at the end of the day, it's all resolved and it's satisfying. Yeah. But then you show me that exact same movie, but like they also have to fight aliens in it. I'm gonna enjoy that one more. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Because like I'm thinking about, because I know exactly what you're saying, and when you say like that, it's like movies that could happen in the real world is kind of what you're saying. Yeah. I think about I immediately thought of The Godfather as an example of a movie that is fantastic and doesn't have those supernatural elements to it.
Right. But
it's also I do very much enjoy it.
Yeah.
But also think about The Godfather and then think about Game of Thrones. It's like, which one did I watch first?
Right.
And which one was I more drawn to?
I guess Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I'm not saying The Godfather is definitely better than Game of Thrones. I'm not saying, but it's like, it's something about that where it's like,
it's a similar
more people have probably, Game of Thrones is way more mainstream than The Godfather, and I think it's because more people are hooked into, it's the same drama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
same layer, same kind of drama. Same kind of drama, but there's dragons in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
There's not dragons.
There's not as many dragons in Godfather.
There's a lot more olive oil. But
Godfather also does have shooty shoots and horse heads and
it's
kill
not
kills.
Like, it's not an action movie. Like,
true, it's different.
It's a different kind of shooty shoot.
It's a gangster movie.
A very it's a slow paced gangster movie where the shooty shoots don't happen very often, but when they do, it's really, really important. And
have you heard
you're just like in shock,
right,
and glued to the screen.
Have you heard the like? I don't know who said this originally, but the like theory that the three most important movies to come out of the 70s were Jaws, Star Wars, and The Godfather, because they're all basically genre movies. Star Wars is just like a sci-fi dumb thing,
kind of fantasy
thing. Godfather's this like gangster shooty shoot movie, and Jaws is a monster movie but with a shark. But they're all done really, really well, and so they like breach into just like good movie territory, just like great movie. And it's something about like the blending of like high art cinema technique with goofy genre movie that like made them like super influential and appealing to everyone. Because they're like well-made movies with like great characters and stuff. Yeah. But they're also about a guy fighting a shark, you know.
To explain the plot of any movies that we think are great, that's kind of what it is. And I think the closest thing to like, I don't know, I like, okay, I've talked about this movie before on this podcast, probably, because it's one of my favorite movies, which is About Time. Right. Because About Time is basically like, it's like this close to being like our world, but then there's like one supernatural element to it. And so it's almost like it's like a movie like that we were, I don't know, I want to come up with a term for movies without monsters in them or space. It's like one of those.
Yeah, I guess non-genre.
It's like
film would be.
So it's like a non-genre film. Yeah. With like
a
seasoning of genre, like just like sprinkled on there, and it's not, and never flavoring, and it doesn't overpower it. And I think that's the problem with and the non-genre part is really strong, and the seasoning just makes that stronger. with
Right.
the character arcs and the themes of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so those two elements just work really well together. But I think when genre movies get bad, it's because the flavor of the genre overpowers the base of it and completely crushes it. Where it's like,
Right, where it's not even about
it's not about
characters at all.
characters at all.
Yeah.
It's just about people fighting a squid, and it's like I don't
Right.
care about any of these people because I have no reason to.
Yeah, that's true. But I think the same could be said the other way.
Yeah.
I don't.
So it's
maybe
all about
to a
a
lesser
balance
extent,
between the flavor and not flavor.
because like
you
I
know?
think romantic comedies are like one of my least favorite genres.
Yeah.
Because there's no monsters in them. Like there's no.
You know.
It's like I can see people fall in love in real life. Like I don't know.
Okay, this is hot take here.
Don't waste my time.
Since being in a relationship and being married, I would say I am way more likely to watch romantic comedies now.
Right.
Because I don't know. For one, they're really like easy to follow.
Right.
And so I get.
You know how it's gonna end.
Yeah, you know how it's gonna end. And so I get in movies where it's like I don't know, life gets hard, and sometimes you're just tired and you just don't want to think about the monsters.
Right.
So it's like let's just put on one of those so I can turn my brain off. Two, when you're with a partner of the opposite gender, there's something for both of you in that movie, because there'll be a part where a guy does something and the girl's like, that's so stupid, and I'm like, hey, we've been in that situation. And there's a part where the girl does something and the guy's like, that's so stupid, and I'm like, so like we're always both relating to the movie in one way or another.
Are you calling your wife stupid?
No, I'm I'm saying that men and women are different, and movies with men and women where they're different and they don't understand each other reflects reality.
Right.
And so it's
saying,
fun. It's fun for that reason.
You're saying so. What you're really saying is, I'm a loser who can't get a girlfriend, and that's why I don't like romantic comedies.
No, I'm saying the enjoyment of it increases.
Right.
For those
I think
reasons.
that's fair.
I'm not. I wouldn't say that like. I don't know, random romantic comedy. I can't think of one off the top of my head.
She's the man.
She's the man.
Maybe that's a bad.
I'm not gonna say
example.
She's the Man's better than The Godfather.
Well, it's complicated. Did you hear about the Morgans? It's complicated.
Or Clueless. Oh, that's not one.
How to suck a guy's dick in 10 days.
Yeah. Is there something? I don't know. There's something. Or it's just. I think it's just a combination of those things where it's like, you know what, this is good, and so I get the appeal of it. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's like, no way is it like better than like The Godfather or like
right,
stuff like that. But it's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think I get
it's like comfort food.
it's like,
kind of.
now I get it. Now I understand.
Now I understand.
I feel like, yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
fair.
like, why do mom and dad watch romantic comedies all the time? And I'm like, oh, I get it now. It's because they're just tired. Frick.
Oh, I guess that's my fault. They're tired all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, you can have a little bit of both. Put
Yeah.
a little time travel in your romantic comedy.
Exactly.
Put
So
a
that's why
little-
About Time is amazing.
Right.
It's because it has all those elements smashed together.
Yeah, and same with like dumb blockbuster movies where they fight a shark. It's like, well, that's fine. I like sharks, I guess. But like, if you put some like just a little bit of character development in there, it's like, oh, now I care about them fighting the shark
Sharks, lasers, and laser sharks.
because I don't want the shark to eat them. Freaking laser beams.
I think
that's a natural stopping point.
Yeah, that's probably a good
We've
place.
gone for like 40 minutes longer than normal.
Oh no, it's only been an hour and 17 minutes.
Oh, okay.
That's
That's
normal.
fine.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you for watching. Tune in to our 7-year special episode anniversary coming in 2 years. And
What happened there? You lost me.
we'll see you then.
Goodbye.